What's up, guys? Ankle Breaker J2 here, the man with the plan, man with the mind, and knowledge is YWC. And if you have seen my videos ever since almost a year ago when I started in March around WrestleMania, been referring to this pay-per-view here as my first pay-per-view that I've seen and the best pay-per-view that I have seen in my lifetime. I would take that back. This is my favorite pay-per-view of all time. I don't know if it's actually the best because since like they have here, I've seen actually better pay-per-views. But this is my favorite pay-per-view of all time, if that makes any sense. This is my favorite, but I don't necessarily think it's the best of all time. But I still love this pay-per-view to death. It is one of the best of all time, bar none. I believe it's the best Royal Rumble of all time. The 1992 Royal Rumble. What I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to go through the card, and I'm going to get to the Royal Rumble matches and give you some facts about the Royal Rumble match itself. Now, let me go through the card here and start off with that. Now, the show, let me give you the background to the Royal Rumble. Basically, the Royal Rumble was set up by the 1991 Survivor Series with Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker, where Ric Flair came out during the match, put the chair in the ring, Undertaker did a tombstone to Hulk Hogan, and The Undertaker won the title. Then a couple nights later in Tuesday in Texas, which was in San Antonio, Texas, by the way, Hulk Hogan won the title back by throwing the Undertaker's ashes from the urn into the Undertaker's face and pin him for a roll-up. So, WWE, at the time, the WWF president, Jack Tunney, decided to strip the title away from Hulk Hogan because those last two matches were very controversial. And he decided to say, hey, at the Royal Rumble, we're going to determine who the real world champion is. We're going to determine by the Royal Rumble match. So for the first time ever, and the only time in WWF/WWE history, where you had the Royal Rumble match for the WWF Championship /E. That's something that they should actually do today, in my opinion, to make the Rumble more special again. You could do something like for instance, let's say this year's Royal Rumble. Let's say CM Punk and, let's just say CM Punk was stripped for the title for a reason. Then they have the Royal Rumble match. Just one of the titles. If it was for both titles, it would be confusing. It would be a clusterfuck. It would be, just one of the titles. So let's just say it's the WWE Championship. And let's just say whoever wins becomes the WWE Champion. And a lot of people say, now they use guys, to build them up. Whoever wins the Royal Rumble gets the main event at WrestleMania. That's what the Elimination Chamber's for. So you'll just swap spots. Instead of having the WWE title match at Elimination Chamber, you have it at the Royal Rumble. In the Royal Rumble match, you take the number one contendership, put it in the Elimination Chamber match. So you have two matches at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view for the number one contender spot, or you can have one of those as the World Heavyweight title match. But enough about that. So that was basically the background to this year's Royal Rumble. Now I'm going to get into the card. The first match here was the New Foundation, which was Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Owen Hart, where they had the little short tag team together, versus the Orient Express. They were been around for a couple years by Mr. Fuji, a Japanese tag team, which was pretty good. This match was a good opener. A lot of great back and forth action. The Rocket Owen Hart show his high flying ability back in the early days. He was doing. He was basically jumping. He had one of the guys, I believe it was Kato, in arm drag position on the top rope, and he jumped and he bounced off the ropes and did an arm drag, which was a pretty good move in the match. But Owen Hart, very, very talented, very, very talented individual, one of the greatest talents of all time. But yeah, in that match though, it was just an opener tag team match, and that's what they usually did for the Royal Rumble openers back in the day. They usually open up with a good tag team match. Not necessarily for the tag team titles. They just open up with a tag team match, get the crowd hot, and usually it's a high flyer match like the Rock or like the Rockers, or in this case the New Foundation. But nevertheless, this match here was a pretty good match, and where the New Foundation won. Second match was Roddy Piper versus the Mountie for the Intercontinental Championship. This was a very, very short match. Now, background to this match here, Bret Hart, who was the Intercontinental Champion literally a few days before, was at a house show against the Mountie, and where Bret Hart was sick, he had the flu. At the time, he was really injured. He had an injury at the time, and they wanted to write him off with the flu. They decided to give Mountie the title, and basically he won the title. Then a few nights later, here at Royal Rumble 1992, he won. He was going in as champion. Roddy Piper beat him with the sleeper hold. It was a very short match, and Roddy Piper, won the Intercontinental Championship. It was an okay match. It was basically build up Roddy Piper into the Royal Rumble itself, because basically another storyline going. There were so many storylines going to this Royal Rumble. It's great. Roddy Piper wanted to be the first man. He was the first man to get an Intercontinental Championship shot and a WWF title shot in one night. And Roddy Piper also, like I said, he wanted to win the Intercontinental Championship and win the WWF Championship all in one night. So he wants to become the new Intercontinental Champion and then the new WWF Champion. So he wanted to be the first person to do that. But overall, the match was okay. It wasn't really, it was just a further build up to the Royal Rumble match. Third match we had here on the card. This is the only thing I was like, about the event itself. But overall, it gives you a good, if you're from that time, and if you understood wrestling back then, it gives you that nostalgic feeling. You had the Beverly Brothers, which was to me, an underrated tag team. They never had their fair share in WWF versus the Bushwhackers. Basically, the storyline was kind of ridiculous going to it. The Genius, which is the Macho Man's brother, was feuding against a guy named Jameson. Jameson. This guy, he had glasses, bad hair, slick back hair. He used to have on his glasses right here that goes behind your ear. It used to be like a clothespin. It used to be bad. But anyway, the Beverly Brothers defeat the Bushwhackers. And it was too long. I think that's what kind of hurt the pay-per-view overall, was that the match was too long. They could have gave the next match this time, and the next match time to this match. So, because this match here went almost 15 minutes, and the other match went about 10 minutes. So, it just went too long, in my personal opinion. But overall, the match wasn't horrible. It's not something that we'll see, today. God awful bad, but it was overall right. Fourth match of the card was for the WWF Tag Team Championship. The Legion of Doom, yes, the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, versus the Natural Disasters of Earthquake and Typhoon. And in this match here, this was a very, very... a lot of people probably will... If you were to look at it, if you were just to look at the match on paper, you'll probably say, man, this match probably sucks. There's a lot of big guys in here. But Earthquake and Typhoon, they could move at their size. They can move like no other, like one of the best big men of all time. Not like a Yokozuna fast, because Yokozuna is my favorite super heavyweight of all time. But nevertheless, long story short, the Natural Disasters beat the Legion of Doom by disqualification. The Legion of Doom still walk out with the tag team titles. They basically, a couple weeks later, they lost the titles to Money Inc. anyway. Legion of Doom. So basically at the end of the day, the storyline itself didn't really go anywhere after this, because Legion of Doom lost the tag team titles to Money Inc. anyway. The Natural Disasters faced Money Inc. at WrestleMania 8. So go figure. But it's still a good nostalgic tag team match. You have the best tag team of all time, one of the best gimmick tag teams of all time, in one match. Very, well, it was a short match, but still, I liked it for what it was worth. Now to the main event, the Royal Rumble, the greatest Royal Rumble of all time. Before the Royal Rumble, you had all these guys cut promos: Flair, Hogan, Undertaker. You know what I mean? All these guys cutting promos before the Royal Rumble match. The Repo Man. You know what I mean? Shawn Michaels. You know, and this is when Shawn Michaels' very first turn heel. A week before, that's where he threw Marginane into the glass at the barbershop. A week before this event happened, Shawn Michaels turned heel. So, yeah, fresh news Shawn Michaels, a very young Shawn Michaels turning heel. And you have the greatest Royal Rumble match of all time. Now, this is the numbers I was telling you about earlier in this video and that I want to get into. The former champs in the Royal Rumble, former champs, whether if they were champions before or they became champions after the Royal Rumble, you have a list of 10. That's a third of the Royal Rumble. You have 10 former world champions in this match. 10 former world champions in this match. Credible world champions in this match. Hulk Hogan, need I say more? Ric Flair, need I say more? Sid, he went on to win championships in WWF in 1997, where he was actually built strong at the time. Macho Man Randy Savage, need I say more? Undertaker, need I say more? Sergeant Slaughter, 1991, the year before, he was a credible champion with the Iraqi sympathizer gimmick. Shawn Michaels, need I say more? Rick Martel, former AWA champion. The Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich, beat Ric Flair after his brother died. It was called I believe it's called the Texas Classic when they were in Texas Stadium back in the mid '80s, where he beat Ric Flair. And the Iron Sheik. Basically, he was transitional champion, but he was still champion nevertheless, which he was very important during the time because Hulk Hogan went on to beat the Iron Sheik. Those are your former world champions in the Royal Rumble. Now let me go into the legends. The actual legends in this Royal Rumble. Not to say that these other guys are not legends. Of course they're legends. But the other legends here in this Rumble. Arguably all Hall of Famers. Some of these guys are already in the Hall of Fame already. British Bulldog. Jake the Snake Roberts. Roddy Piper. Haku. He should be a Hall of Famer. Nasty Boy Sags. Nasty Boy Knobs wasn't in this match. He was injured. So Nikolai Volkov, who was another legend, replaced Knobs, but Sags was in there. So Nasty Boys, I think they're Hall of Fame worthy. They're definitely Hall of Fame worthy. But anyway, I already said Haku, Ted DiBiase, Greg the Hammer Valentine, the Big Boss Man, IRS, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and Virgil. Yes, even Virgil was in this Royal Rumble. So just think about all the names here in this Royal Rumble. You cannot. I want you guys. I dare you. I make a challenge out there to find me a Royal Rumble where you have 20, basically 20 about 20 Hall of Famers in there, because I counted the 10 former world champions. Then you have an additional like 10 to 15 that I named just there. So I want you guys to go back and see if you can find a Royal Rumble where it has all those legends in there. So anyway, basically in this match you had several legends in here, as I stated before. And in the match itself, it was built up where Ric Flair came in as the third entrant, and basically he went from number 3 all the way to the winning the match. The commentary, I always say this, Heenan and Monsoon was possibly some of the best commentary I ever seen. How they were just bickering back and forth at each other, giving each other cheap shots. Bobby Heenan giving cheap shots about some of the guys in the Royal Rumble, like Jake Roberts, Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan, British Bulldog. He was just giving cheap shots back and forth. And Ric Flair, who came in the match at number 3, basically essentially went hour. I believe he went 59 minutes and 32, 33, 34 seconds, something like that. So he essentially went an hour. So it was literally under an hour before Ric Flair actually eliminated Sid Justice last. But in this Rumble itself, the like I said, the commentary was great. The actual way they did the Rumble itself, you had Ric Flair that came out at number 3. Basically, he was going through everybody. Then he was in the ring by himself. Then basically he eliminated. I remember he eliminated the Big Boss Man. Then he was in the ring by himself. Then Roddy Piper came out, and when Roddy Piper came out, Ric Flair was just like, "Oh man." He's like, "Oh man, I still have to go through the rest of the field here." And I remember when he eliminated the Big Boss Man, Heenan was like, "That's it. Flair is the world champion." And Monsoon was like, what are you talking about? There's still a few guys left. So, just some of the great commentary there. But nevertheless, after that you had The Undertaker come out, Superfly Jimmy Snuka, which I don't think I actually mentioned, another legend that's in there. How did I forget about the Superfly? The Undertaker came out, Randy Savage came out, Iron Sheik came out, Rick Martel came out, then Hulk Hogan came out, which he basically cleaned house. Then Sid Justice came out. Then basically what happened at the end of the Rumble, where it was basically you see Sid Justice eliminate Hogan. Hogan gets mad, and he basically Sid Justice was trying to shake Hulk Hogan's hand. Hulk Hogan grabs his arm, pulls him out of the ring, with Ric Flair eliminating him. And then after Ric Flair eliminates Sid Justice, Ric Flair becomes WWF champion. All hell's breaking loose, with Hulk Hogan and Sid Justice, which eventually led their match up to WrestleMania 8 in the main event. And basically from there you just had Heenan on commentary saying, yes, I told you, yes, I told you. And it was just basically chaos at that point. So yeah, basically at the end of the show you see Mean Gene Okerlund backstage with Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect, who was not actually in the Royal Rumble, but another legend that was involved in the show. Go figure, Mr. Perfect. He was back there with Bobby Heenan, and Bobby Heenan and Mr. Perfect was like, I hate to say that I told you so, but I told you so. And Ric Flair cuts the promo, the famous promo that everybody remembers from the event. But if you have not watched the event, you gotta watch at least the Rumble match. I mean, at least watch the Rumble match. Is worth watching for the Rumble match. Ric Flair says, to all who doubted the real world champion, with a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment of my life. I mean, that's just classic right there. One of the best Flair promos of all time. Then, to end the show, basically, you had Mean Gene Okerlund. He said, Ric Flair, you have become, put that cigarette out. I don't know. I always thought that was hilarious. Where Mean Gene Okerlund. I don't know if he actually broke kayfabe or I don't know, but that was just freaking hilarious. Where he was like, Ric Flair. He's like Ric Flair. And he's telling someone from the media or something. He's like, put that cigarette out. Good stuff for Mean Gene. But anyway, guys, let me know on what your favorite Rumble is of all time. Mine is the 92 by far. This is this month's wrestling video. I need to start doing these videos again, but I just want to get my thoughts and feelings about the Royal Rumble. I give this a 10 out of 10. Nah, okay, there's no such thing as a 10 out of 10 pay-per-view. I give this a 9.5 out of 10, but anyway. I love this pay-per-view to death, but if you have not seen this pay-per-view, at least watch the Rumble. At least watch the Rumble because we're worth it. Alright guys, please rate, please subscribe, please drop a comment, and I'll check you guys later. Peace out.